Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to be invited here. It's a great pleasure for me to be together with you, such an important event. And because I am one of the last, but I hope not the least, speakers, let me to congratulate the organizers for the idea to organize this kind of event, for the good level of discussions, and also I think for the first and preliminary useful conclusions. I'm also proud because one of our proposal inside of the Romanian Presidency of the Consilium, e-commerce was considered such a successful and good working topic. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce you in our work, and I think about our work inside of the Chief Veterinary Officers Group. Inside of our group, we'll debate e-commerce regarding the food, the most important, but also e-commerce with feed, with live animals, with veterinary medicines, which are often, you will see, interconnected. So, being able to buy and sell online products and service has generated many opportunities for consumers and sellers, operators too, and this led to new challenges for official controls. Through the world, online buying has grown exponentially. E-commerce has changed the boundaries of traditional commerce, the consumer trust when buying online from another country, it's sometimes low, so that the security of online shopping, it's important. Why it's internet sales of animals and products a challenge for official control? Due to the complexity of internet sales, the application of different control strategies, cooperation and intelligence sharing between different authorities in the member states is crucial. Also, this leads to new agreements between European Commission and services which can help in this regard banks and online paying systems providers, host and domain registration, other intermediaries. Some of the aspects that lead to this conclusion are an increasing share of trade is developing on internet, and internet sales of food, feed, veterinary medicines, live animals, etc. are becoming more popular, as you can see. Together with a wide variety of food, feed, veterinary medicines, and live animals are being marketed online. Complexity of internet sales and the new business models developed require the application of different control strategies. Which are the main risks that might occur under the condition of uncontrolled electronic commerce? Food, for the example. We talk about foodborne disease, the poisoning food. Regarding the animals, we talk about the different kind of disease. We talk about animal welfare. Also, the veterinary drugs, uncontrol of veterinary drugs with non-occurrence, talk about the different kind of fainting feeds, might result for occurrence of drugs reduced in food. Different approaches of member states could also become an obstacle. The online marketplace offers every kind of food, including fresh meat and fish, live animals, veterinary drugs. Moreover, an ever-increasing variety of food supplements is being made available online. Among those are situations which can give rise of serious human health concerns and animal welfare issues, thereby uncontrolled, that can lead to foodborne disease, as I say, the spread of animal disease, the veterinary, and different approaches of member states. In the light of above, the Romanian Presidency launched a discussion during the Chief Veterinary Officers Working Group and invited member states to comment and share their point of view on this topic, on this subject. All member states welcomed the idea, given the scale and importance of this issue, and felt there was a need for a strategic and structured debate to identify ways for an effective official control of internet sales of animal and products. As a first step, the main challenges related to this topic were identified, and 5 questions have been launched to the member states. First one, is there a need for a more strategic and structured debate related to internet sales? Is the current legal framework sufficient to respond to the challenges identified by the member states? Is there a need to develop guidelines for member states on how to tackle official controls of food and animals sold over the internet in a harmonized way? Is there a need to have an uniform response at European Union level regarding the non-compliance detected on commodities from third countries? For which other aspects the member states deem necessary to have a harmonized approach? Question, is there a need for a more strategic and structured debate related to the internet sales? All those who have expressed their view have supported the idea of such a debate, given the scale and importance of this subject. And the second question, is the current legal framework sufficient to respond to the challenges identified by the member states? Member states agreed that it's imperative to improve the current legal framework. Is necessary to clarify, improve, and complement existing legislation to cover all the areas. Better collaboration between member states is required regarding REASSF ACC notification. Necessary registration of the operators, intermediary sales companies, instructions regarding directly buying from third countries, etc. Other third questions, is there a need for developed guidelines for member states on how to tackle official controls of food and animals sold over the internet in a harmonized way? Member states had positive opinion and sent their proposal, which could improve these aspects. Develop guidelines for internet sales of animals and identify other specific needs where guidelines are necessary. Periodically reviewing and updating the existing guidelines considering the variety of the situation. Training on how to apply the guidelines. Guides to support the operators active in this area to comply with specific legislation. Brochures for consumer information and awareness. Member States' answers to the 4 questions have shown the need for a common approach related to the non-compliance detected on commodities, especially on those from third countries. The need for a common procedure to be followed in case of non-conformity, especially those linked to an e-commerce operator located in a third country. Harmonized instructions for online sale of goods, food, feed, and live animals from the third countries. Agreements with third countries which have web shops, online platforms that offer products for sale also to consumers located inside the European Union. Other issues for which a common approach is needed have been highlighted as being identification and registration of the sites platforms for sale animals and products, cooperation with police, online platforms, etc. Competent authorities collaboration in member states with customs authorities and improving and strengthening customs controls on fiscal legislations. Setting up a markup system for online sellers so that the quality and safety of goods can be ensured. The proposal sent in response to the above questions raised in the question where we want to reach. Therefore, the priorities for the further development of this topic have been established as a common approach in the EU for the official control on sales of animals and products on internet. Guides and specific instructions available at the European Union level. Harmonized approach for the response of the EU level for non-compliance to the e-commerce agreements concluded by the Commission with the third countries. Development of a roadmap that should include actions or steps required and appropriate timing for priorities and long-term activities. The Romanian presidency has worked on a roadmap based on the discussions and on the written comments sent by the member states. The roadmap, as you can see, contained a legal framework, guidelines, procedures, instructions, brochures, cooperation and consultation, exchange of experience, and training. Each chapter includes main objectives and actions required. Regarding the main objectives, to establish a common understanding as how the existing regulatory framework and official controls should be best applied to internet sales in order to ensure the protection of consumers and mitigate the risk related to animal health and welfare. To raise the awareness of all actors, operators, platforms, competent authorities involved in the area of internet sales on the rules applicable to the internet sales. To raise the awareness of the general public on the possible risk involved. To improve the cooperation and exchange of information between all authorities involved in official control on internet sales. Competent authorities and operators involved in the area of the internet sales of animals and goods. Competent authorities and online platforms, social media network, and marketplaces. To exchange information on best practices related to this type of activities. So, 3 stages have been established inside of timing: short, mid, and long-term priorities. For the short-term priorities, as you can see, we find identification of possible gaps in the legislative framework. Explore, in consultation with stakeholders, the most appropriate ways to apply the existing legal framework to internet sales. Develop uniform approaches for the competent authorities and guidance for operators and how to implement the existing legal provisions. Develop brochure to consumers. Initiate discussion with the third countries for cooperation in this area. Finally, develop a framework for cooperation between competent authorities at national and European Union level. Midterm priorities have as objective establishment of cooperation with online platforms and development of plans of controlling online sell platforms. Regarding the long-term priorities, other remaining actions identified in the roadmap, such as exchange of experience and training. Regarding the conclusions from our last informal Chief Veterinary Officers Working Group meeting held in Romania 2 weeks before, we established the roadmap proposed by the Romanian Presidency was discussed and appreciated during informal Chief Veterinary Officers Working Group. Member States and the European Commission view and conclusions. Roadmap was appreciated and considered a good start to address the issues. DG Sante is prepared to support the activities related to the Regulation 325 by 2017. The necessity to set up a steering group to coordinate the work involved should be taken into consideration. The degree of development of the platform need to be discussed and set up. Partnership between different players involved should be established. The conference from the 24th and 25th of June in Berlin will be, it is already, an important occasion for debates on the e-commerce issue between all parties involved. The topic of internet sales of foodstuffs, animals, and animal products has been discussed in different formats at EU and international level. European Commission and Member States welcome the subject of internet sales of animals and products as a challenge of official control proposed by the Romanian Presidency, being considered one of the main achievements of the Romanian Presidency within the Chief Veterinary Officers Working Group. As I told you, European Commission and member states welcome the subject of internet sales. So this subject will be taken and continue over by the Finnish presidency, I hope. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Geronimo. We'll see you for questions back.